What is going on, traders? It is Julian. Today's Wednesday, and this is a market recap. I got two stocks that were popping off. Had to take my pound of flesh out of these two stocks, and I want you to stick around so I can actually show you step by step what I was doing. Actually, this is more of a video lesson than it is a market review. So I'm going to get into the first stock. And the first stock I'm talking about is GNLN. This is something that came straight off of the scan, and I had to take a look. This thing does or did what I love to see first thing in the morning, and that is a nice positive gap. And when I say positive gap, what I'm referring to is a gap where price action moves up like a rocket ship and then pulls back. I'm looking for these little lulls every single time. I have a scan that I use. I'm looking for one thing and one thing only, and that is volatility. Volatility is a thing that traders need. And so with that, what I'm looking for is a gap, and I'm looking for a run right out of the gate, and then I need a nice light pullback. It's right around this area right through here where this puts in a little bit of a floor, where I really start to look at this stock in terms of, okay, are you going to give me an opportunity here to play or not? And so what I'm looking for here on this particular trade, or at that point opportunity on GNLN, is I'm looking for that little floor to base out right through here. A little bit of support, a little bit of a turn, if you will. So price action is going to gap, it's going to rally, it's going to pull back. You got roughly about a 50% pullback of the gap up. And essentially what I'm looking for is that little turn. I'm looking for price to actually get above the VWAP and pull back a little bit. As soon as I have levels of trend line resistance that I can start messing with, I'm now really gearing myself towards a potential trade. Where am I getting in? I'm looking to take 514 long. I'm looking to, at a minimum, get to high a day, if not longer. Now, in this particular trade, I actually got filled at 520, and I had a target up at 566. That actually got hit. 46-cent gain on this one. Not a huge percentage, 8% gain. I was looking for 10%, but I mean, I'm going to take what I can get. This was a decent trade, and that's GNLN. So I really like this one. While I'm messing around with this, I'm keeping an eye on my stock. There was also, or other stocks, rather. There was some news on YVR. Some news out of Vancouver came up on this thing today, and I was watching this, and you'll see right through here that this actually had a couple decent pullbacks. Same thing, right? Had that nice big run up right out of the gate off of a gap. It starts to mess around a little bit, and we get into these pullbacks right through here, and you can see again, I'm looking for that floor. Puts in that little floor. That little bit of support is telling me that a turn is coming. And as soon as I see that turn, I really start to hone in on whether or not this is going to be a viable opportunity. Now, this particular stock, I wasn't too fond of how this thing moves. I got a 7% gain on this, 15% total gain for the day. But on YVR, 467 is where I was getting in. So I was getting in roughly around this little pullback right through here. So same thing. We've got this pullback right through here. I'm getting long right after it squeezes the VWAP. It comes back down a little bit. I wasn't liking this pullback, but I did see that it put in this little low right through here and then started to push. For me to stay in this and wanting to remain long, this thing had to rally. And so you can see right through there, there's the gap, there's the run up, there's the pullback, there's the breakout, there's the retest, and then boom, it starts to move. But it couldn't make itself, or couldn't take itself up to high of day at 515 where my first target was. What ended up happening was this thing started to get a little bit soft, and so I stepped my stops up a little bit and adjusted my stops in at 517. So this thing actually moved all the way up into 505 level, and when 505 was in this area right through here, I then started to take profits as it was coming off a little bit. So that was the trade on this one. Pretty straightforward stuff, but you're going to see in terms of the pattern, we're looking at the exact same pattern. We get a gap, we get a run up, we get a nice deep pullback. I'm creating some trend line resistance over the VWAP, and then I'm looking for price action to blast from there. And on the short side, I am also shorting. I got into this position today. LGHL, this wasn't looking so great. It was I was thinking it was about net neutral this morning, unchanged rather. It wasn't really doing anything, and then this thing started to slide. Decided to get short with some options on this. The spreads on the options weren't great. I did get deep in the money. I do have a 411 target and then some that I'm looking at, and I suspect that this thing will probably come down to that lower level. If for whatever reason it jumps above the VWAP and maybe even gets above 480, I might decide to take the position off. Again, I'm already in the money, and so I can afford to get my ass kicked a little bit. It's not going to hurt me too much if price action comes up to this level. If it did take out high of day 487, I would probably dump completely. But I got a lot of time on these as well, even though I'm only looking to hold it to 411. So the sooner this thing works out, the better. And that is where I'm at in the world of trading. Thanks for sticking around all the way to the end. Remember, it's all about pattern recognition. It's all about discipline. And you have to have a game plan every single morning. If you want to, if you have any questions, by all means, please feel free to reach out.